Hi guys, it's Night Fear, and I'm coming on today to do my January wrap-up. Yes, I know, this is really late, and I kind of debated on whether to do this or not, but I really want to do wrap-ups for each month, so you guys are going to be getting January and February today, but just in this video is just for January. So in January, I actually got to read 15 books, which is amazing compared to my 2020 reading. And I also participated in 2 readathons, which I did not do TBR videos for, and I did not do wrap-ups. I did participate in the Rent readathon and the Read Your Shelves. I did okay on both, but I'm not going to do specific videos for those. Instead, I'm just going to include those books in this video. I will try to do, I didn't do any readathons in February, but I have a couple I want to participate in March. So you guys have already gotten one TBR for that one, and then another TBR will be up for today for that too. So you guys are going to be, unfortunately for you guys, are going to get several videos today. But then again, maybe fortunate if you guys like to watch me, then you have videos to spread over a couple days. So anyway, I want to share with you the 15 books that I read for the month of January. Now, several of these are books from my shelves. Like I said, I did participate in Read Your Shelves. So I did actually complete a lot of, I read a lot of books from my shelves, and then a couple of books that I got from the library that I really wanted to read. So anyway, so the first one that I read for the month was Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven and Other Poems. He is my favorite my favorite poet. I actually wrote an essay when I was in high school comparing Edgar Allan Poe and Stephen King. I really wish I still had that, but unfortunately I don't. And this camera's all over the place. Sorry, guys. Let me just scoot this over a little bit. There we go. But anyway, this is just a really short book of some of his poems. But The Raven is in here. Annabel Lee is in here. And quite a few other of his poems are in here. I gave this a 5, of course, because, you know, it's Edgar Allan Poe. But that was a nice quick read to start the month off. Then the second book that I read was The Case for Easter by Lee Strobel. I did write the case, I did read The Case for Christ last year and really enjoyed it. And I had bought this at a tent sale that my used bookstore had. And I was really excited, but this book is so short. It didn't have the amount of knowledge and the interesting stuff that the first one had. So I only gave this a 3. It was interesting, but I just didn't get as much out of it as I did the first one. And I can't remember if I gave that one a 5 or a 4. But this one for me was definitely a 3 because I think it was just too short. I wish he would have gone into just a little more detail, and maybe, I don't know how it would have been better for me, but just the detail was just a little bit lacking for me. I'm also trying to read some of my goals. I want to read a nonfiction book every month, at least one, a book off my shelf every month, and then a book that I wanted to read in 2020. So those 3, books will appear in each, hopefully, will appear in each of my TBRs and wrap-ups. So we're on track so far. So far, I did it in January and February, so I'm hoping to keep this going. But this was my nonfiction for January. And of course, any of these books counted. I'm having a list of the ones I'm reading, so it's fine. So the next one that I read was not off my shelves, but it's a book that I've been waiting to read, and my library finally got it. And it was The Damned by Renee Audier. Now, this is the second one. The first one was called The Beautiful. This is a vampire YA book. A lot of people did not like the first one. I absolutely loved the first one. I didn't love this one quite as much. But I still gave this one a 4-star. It seemed a little rushed in places, but I really enjoyed the ending, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. I'm not sure. I should have wrote down when it's coming out, but I think it is coming out this year. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and this is just about a girl who flees to Louisiana, and she's fighting her own battles, trying to escape something, which I'm not going to tell you about. But and then she finds this wonderful world in New Orleans, and it's just, it's one of the complaints about the first one is that people say, oh, well, there's no vampires, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, it doesn't specifically say in that one that they're vampires, but through the whole entire book. I mean, you just get that sense, and it's kind of, I don't know, I liked it. And then this one goes right at, is like continuation right after, and it goes into what happened. And I can't really tell you what this one is about because it will spoil the first one. But it follows what's going on, and it kind of, one of the characters gets very broody, but I can see why, and it explains why. And if you understand him from the first book, that it does make sense in this one. I mean, he's not as enjoyable to read in this one as he was in the first one, but there's a reason for it. So I can't wait for the next one, because things are back on track. And yeah, but yeah, this is definitely 4 stars for me. All right. So the next one, okay, this again. I had started the Lock and Key and was waiting for my library to get the rest of them. I don't really like to read graphic novels on my tablet, but the library, the physical library, didn't have them, so I got them off the e-library. I got the last 2. This is the 5th volume, and then the next one I'm going to show you is the 6th volume. This one is called the Clockworks, and the next one is Alpha and Omega, and they're both by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. And these just continue. I gave both of these 4 stars. It was an okay wrap up to the whole series. This is about a family whose father dies, and they have to go to this mansion, and the kids find all these keys. And so you get little stories, and the keys do different things. And so you continue with this. And of course, there's somebody evil trying to get the keys. And, I mean, it was a really good series. I really enjoyed it. I would really like to buy them and read them again, because I've read them so split up. I think I'd enjoy them more if I just kind of read them one right after the other. But they were a really good series. So this is this one. And then this is the cover for the Alpha and Omega. So that's the cover for the last one. But like I said, I gave these both 4 stars, and I really like Joe Hill's writing. So yeah. Okay, the next, another library book. Okay, so the next one I read was Felix Ever After. I actually read this, I got it in physical from my library, but this is by Case and Calendar, and I have read some of their, let's see, I've read 2, I think I've read 2 of their books before this one. But this is about a trans boy who, he's already pretty much transitioned. So he's, knows who he is. It's not usually when I read trans stories, it's about them finding out like who they are. He already knows who he is. But he's, how do I explain this without spoiling anything? I don't know. It's just his story, about him and his friends. And he is in a summer art program, and he's trying to get ready to go to college. He's 17. And something happens, and it kind of, teaches him a few things. Let's put it that way. I gave this 5 stars. This is a wonderful story. For some reason, I get so into these stories, the trans stories, and I've read several different ones, and just for the most part, love them all. And so if you guys have any trans stories to recommend, please link them down below, or not link them, but, let me know down below, because I'm all for, trans stories. I have read a couple non-binary, love those too. But just for some reason, I'm just very, I don't know. I just like those stories. Maybe it's because they're more touching, maybe. I don't know. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just really do enjoy them. And this one is definitely 5 stars. And look at that cover. That cover is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, but I don't have really any complaints about this one at all. I really enjoyed the way the story ended. I like that he found out, realized some things that I don't think he even realized he needed to realize, if that makes any sense. But anyway, loved this book. Like I said, if you have any recommendations for me, let me know down below. I'm always into finding new books. Okay, so the next one is another one that I own, and that is Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. I have, this is like the fourth, I think, third or fourth book of hers that I own, and I'm interested in actually buying all of her books. I really enjoy her writing. This was a 5-star. Let me look real quick because I can't remember. Oh yeah, okay. This is about these kids that need help, and they're kind of like, the whole school kind of looks at them like the dumb kids or the special kids. And so they get picked on, and they don't have great lives at home. And so they come to this teacher, and the teacher decides one day a week they're all going to go to this room, and the teacher leaves them there. They have an hour, and it's their time to talk about whatever. And this room becomes a safe space, and you learn a lot about these kids and their lives. And it's sad. It is just so poignant, and it's just amazing. And like I said, her writing is just love. And the books are usually pretty short, and she just packs, she packs so much into these books. But if you like her and have read her before and haven't read this one, I highly recommend this one. But I definitely would have some tissues nearby just in case, because it does get a little sad at points. Okay, so the next one is another library book, and this is A Little in Lion by Brandy Colbert. I can't believe it took me so long to read this book. It's actually been on a couple TBRs of mine, but for some reason I just would never get to it. This is another one I gave 5 stars. Yeah, this is another one that just made me sob. This is about a girl. It's her and her mom married. Her mom married this man that had a son, and so they were really young when their family got married, so they consider each other brother and sister. And it's not like step, they truly look at each other like brother and sister. Which that part of the story is wonderful. But she is sent off to boarding school. I don't really want to touch too much on why. You do find that out. But she, for the reason they think is better, so they bring her home, and she finds out that she's not quite sure if the reason that they sent her home is quite what they think, that it was solved quite as much as they think it is. Let me put it like that. This is queer. I'm also not going to really go into too much about that, because it's nice to find out a little bit about them on your own. But yeah, this was an amazing book. I was afraid they were going to do something at the end. I was expecting it, and I'm glad that she didn't choose to do that. Because I think I would have broken down, like, seriously, if the ending would have been a little different. But it is amazing. It's just amazing. If you haven't read this book and you like LGBTQIA plus books, I highly recommend this one. But yeah, definitely 5-star. Okay. The next one is another library book. Okay, why did that do that? Hold on a second. My Kindle's not cooperating. Okay, and this one is the Henna Wars. Now I'm going to butcher this name, but I'm going to try. The author's name is Adiba. Hold on, let me look. Jagardar. The Henna Wars. Sorry. It is an awesome, and see, I can't even, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, if hopefully you can see that if you want to look this book up. But anyway, it is a middle grade book. Well, no. I thought it was a middle grade book, but it's not really. No, not really. Anyway, I thought the girls were going to be younger than they were. I did give this 5 stars. But this is about, they are in Scotland, Ireland. I think they're in Ireland. It's been a while since I've read this, guys, and sometimes I think they're in Ireland. But anyway, they have a class together, and they have to set up a business, and they both decide to do henna businesses. And this is queer, and it is sweet, and it touches on, not being accepted by your parents, and what do you do? How do you handle that? It's also not being accepted by the people around you. How do you handle that? And things like that. So it is an amazing book. It really touched my heart. And I'm very glad I finally read it. Very glad my library finally got it. So, but yeah, that's the Henna Wars. Okay, so that's all of those books. Okay. The next one is, the rest of these are books that I own. This one is called, Longborough. It's Podkin One Ear by Kieran Larwood. I picked this up at Ollie's. It was only $1.99, and it looked cute because I don't really read a lot of fantasies where they have like non-people characters, like, because this is all about rabbits. But this was really good. It is told, it's like an old storyteller comes and is telling this story. And so you get the story, plus you get him telling the story, and kind of a little bit of the audience responding to the story. But it is about their legend, one of their legends, and how this little bunny kind of, how do I put this? How he kind of triumphs over, being chased and things like that. But it is a series, and I only have this one, but I definitely, I think it's Scribd that has, like a bunch of, like the second and third, I think, and maybe even more than that. But I definitely want to finish this. And I gave this one 5 stars. It was so cute. It was easy to read. Definitely middle grade, but I would recommend this, and especially if you like stories like this where it's not necessarily human characters, but they're more animal characters. I definitely would recommend this one. But yeah, and it was easy to read and really short. I read it really fast. The next one I read was The Last Olympian. Sorry, I got this one used. It did not have a dust cover. But yeah, The Last Olympians. This is the 5th book in the Percy Jackson series. I finally finished this first series, but this is by Rick Riordan. And so this starts out with Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. That's the very first book in the series. And this ends up pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I did give it 4 stars. And I'm trying to remember why I gave it 4 stars. Something was just a little off about it, but I still really enjoyed it. And am glad to finally be done with this first section so I can move on to the next ones in this, in this world, I guess you'd say. So, but yeah, that's the Percy Jackson. Then the next one I read was The Giver, by Lois Lowry. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoy this book. I haven't read any of the other ones, so I read this into continuation, because this is definitely a reread. I've read this two or three times before, but I wanted to read it again, refresh my memory, so that I can go on and read the next, because I think it's a quartet. And I think the next 2 books in the series are a companion, and I think the 4th one kind of touches on all 3 from what I understand. but this is about a dystopian world. No, it's more of a utopian world, kind of, I guess. But they don't see color anymore. They don't have emotions anymore. And they are assigned their names. They're assigned their children. They are assigned their jobs. And this is about a boy who is getting assigned his job, and he actually gets placed with this old man, and he is to become the giver, where he will now be giving the information so like he holds all the information, all the real information about what's going on. So if something comes up that they don't understand, he remembers for them, so that the community doesn't have to have all these bad memories and things like that. So they're trying to be a true utopian society. So yeah, pretty good book. I would definitely, if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend. It's definitely short, and it brings up a lot of good points on why doing this is not really, I don't know, it's not really such a great idea, and it kind of touches on kind of why. The next one is The Bridge of San Luis, by Thornton Wilde. Now now none of these others I've really mentioned the prompt, but this prompt was, where did I get this? Because I don't honestly remember where I got this book from. I don't think I bought it. I have no idea. Sometimes people give me books. I'm wondering if that was, so I'm thinking this is a classic. But it was actually a really good book. I gave it 4 stars. This is about a disaster that happens when a bridge collapses, and there are 5 people. Is it 5 people that are killed? Yes, 5 people are killed. And so this monk is like, he's trying to prove that, divine intervention. Whether there was divine intervention in their lives that caused this, or, kind of like that. So the monk is looking at each one of the people and, what their lives were like, and why this may have happened, and why may they have been on the bridge, and why them and maybe not somebody else. And it was a very interesting book. Like I said, it was, very short and very good. And I didn't highlight what you saw, because there's a couple, it was already highlighted, so it definitely was used. But yeah, I'm thinking about trying to read it again, maybe in a few months, or, maybe next year, and like really going in depth and paying really even closer attention, and, doing some kind of a study thing or something. But it was definitely good. Okay. The last 2, this one, I read The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. I know you can either do this series or the other series, but this one had a graphic novel. I have the graphic novel in the second one, and so I needed to do this one first. But this is about 2 new characters in this world, in the Percy Jackson world, but it's different. This is the Egyptian gods, and this is about a brother and a sister who find out a lot about who their dad really was. It's a really long book. I gave this one 4 stars. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I am excited to continue in this. But yeah, and because I thought the Egyptian gods were interesting. I don't know as much about them as the Greek or Roman gods, but it's still kind of cool. Now this one is the Throne of Fire. It's the second one, and it's the one after this one. So it's the second one, and it's the Kane Chronicles. And this is also by Rick Riordan. It's a graphic novel. I only gave this one a 3. I think I don't like the graphic novels in these, because I like the details, and I like the part which you don't quite get in a graphic novel. So I am going to read this one again, but I'm going to read it in the book form. But it was nice, and I got this at Ollie's, and it was really cheap. It was only $1.99. So, but yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. So, I mean, those are the 15 books that I read in January. I really enjoyed my reading. liked rereading a couple books, enjoyed, finding some new ones and finishing up a series. And, so let me know if you've read any of these books down below. Please remember to always be kind to one another, and I will see you again soon. Bye.